Style for Life. I'm Stephanie Rumble, fashion stylist, accountability coach, and your guide to feeling good in your body and your clothes. Based in Christchurch, New Zealand, I bring over 3 decades of experience in fashion, fitness, and wellness to help you feel strong, stylish, and self-assured. Together, we'll explore the emotional, physical, and practical sides of style, because true confidence starts from within. No matter your age or size, you deserve to feel confident and show up as the best version of you. I truly believe this. This is Style for Life. Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast today. It's the middle of the winter here in Christchurch, hence the fact I'm wearing a very thick, warm jersey, which I actually knitted during the lockdown some years ago, a COVID-19 lockdown. And I've been looking back over my podcasts and doing a little bit of strategic planning about the kind of episodes that you have responded well to, the kind of episodes that have had many downloads, the kind of episodes that people have watched on YouTube. And I'm actually only doing blogs about the ones that seem to be really popular, which is really exciting. So some more blogs coming out in the next week. And every month I'm going to do a podcast about how to use your money better around clothes, how to find bargains, all of those sort of things. Because I think people are very cost-driven, often can be quite cost-driven around clothes. I know I certainly consider that as definitely one of the number 1 reasons or number 2 reasons of buying something. Definitely, it's right up there for me. So I really want to be really clear on that and really intentional about giving you good information. And I also know that there's a lot of information out there and it's about filtering through how to use it. And I note too that the Capsule wardrobe podcast was really popular, as was the podcast that I did a few weeks ago. Also looking at how much you should spend on your wardrobe. That was really popular. Everyone really liked that. So keeping that in mind. And this podcast today ties in so well with our Capsule wardrobe podcast and on how much to spend on your wardrobe and what I have planned, which is really exciting. So today's podcast is titled How to Dress Well Without Spending a Fortune. Now, I did release a podcast of a similar type last August. So I've got one that's really similar. So I've been back through that today to make sure that I'm not repeating myself and to make sure I'm giving you some different advice based on what I've learned nearly a whole year later. Also, we'll be interviewing somebody in the next couple of weeks who owns a preloved clothing store, just to get some really great hints and tips from her. And that'll tie in really nicely to this episode as well, because I'm going to talk a wee bit about preloved clothing. So I'm hoping I can release that podcast in the next couple of weeks. So that's very exciting. And in the future, please do keep letting me know what you'd like me to talk about and how you'd like it to roll. And in the past, in the podcast, I've done my 10 top tips, and I've come back to that today because I just feel like when you're looking at how to dress well without spending a fortune, you probably want to be able to remember a concise number of things. And I know there's a rule of short-term memory where we remember on a good day 5 things, on a bad day 3 things, and on a great day 7. So I'm hoping you're having a very fantastic day and you can remember 7 of the 10 things about how to dress well without spending a fortune. So that's how I'm going to roll with it today. Talk through each point for 3 or 4 minutes or so that we can really drill down into it, because I think that's the thing that people really want to know is how do we actually dress well and not spend all our money on clothes. Now, just to reiterate what I talked about a few weeks ago, which is about how much you should spend on your wardrobe. And I gave the advice that we as fashion stylists, image consultants get trained on, and that is around 5 to 10% of your actual net income. So what you have after tax is taken away and what you have left. So for some people, that's a significant amount of money. And sometimes I tell people this and they like, oh my goodness, I am not spending that. For example, I had a client and over the weekend we were doing some training, which was fantastic. And she actually was looking really shocked when I told her that. She was like, oh, wow. And she was a young mum with 2 small children who just hadn't put herself first. So, when I told her that, she was like, oh, that's enlightening. So 5 to 10% of your income on clothes. Now, some people, for whatever reason, that might not be possible. There might be other constraints on their money, or they have an income that's more modest, and so the amount they have to spend is more modest. And I just want to be really clear in my podcast that I want everyone to get something from this. You don't have to be a high flyer, big spender to be able to look great. Yeah, I just know this. I know there's people who have very little and still manage to dress in a way that makes them feel great and in a way that they feel good and they feel like they look good too, and they always do. So I'm sure you know where I'm going to start. And this is not a plug just for my services. The first one is know what suits you. Honestly, it saves so much money because you don't buy things you're unsure of. You buy something with more certainty. How do you know that? How do you know what suits you? It's about knowing which colours suit your skin tone. And if you haven't heard my podcast for a while, everyone suits every colour except orange and black. Doesn't suit everybody, don't suit everybody. And it's just the shade of the colour that works for you. So if you're watching this particular clip today on this podcast on YouTube, and I know some of you do, I'm wearing a jersey, as I said, I knitted it earlier in lockdown. It's got all my colours in it, and I purchased the colours, the wool to work in my colours. So it's orange, bright green, a petrol-y blue, and a purpley colour. And it actually works really well together. It's got big sleeves. It's an old 80s pattern. It's so good on a cold day. So colours that work for your skin tone make you feel more confident. When you buy colours that look good, you feel good, people tell you you look good, and you actually think, oh, wow, that's actually good. Now, things that also feel like you. Are they a style that feels like it flatters you in the way you want to feel flattered? Do they fit you in a way you want them to fit? And there's a lot of media out there at the moment about stylists and about us giving very big prescriptions about what to wear, and I'm very careful about that. So I actually want my clients to be fully self-expressed. It's really important to me that they are fully self-expressed and they feel great in the things they choose to wear. And if it's something that potentially in the past you might have said might not be right for some reason or another, I just want you to be the best version of you and feel great. So something that fits you well and feels good on you. And some of the reasons we give advice around fit and style is not to put people in a box and make them feel bad. It's to help them feel good. Yeah, so just if you can take that lens, if you know what styles suit you, that's excellent. If you want to look a certain way and you know how to achieve that, fantastic. If you don't care and just want to buy something because you like it, fill your boots. So again, but know what suits your colouring, your personality, your style, your fit, what vibe you want to give. So that's really number one, is knowing that, because then you can actually walk into any store, whether it's a pre-loved clothing store or a new store, and choose something that actually works for you and you feel good about and you're confident in choosing it. That's point one. Know what suits your colour, style, personality, and fits you well. This next one, shop for items on sale. I am really good at this. And it's because I have expensive taste and I like things that are, perhaps perceived, for me, I perceive them to be high quality, or I perceive them to be a New Zealand designer, which I really like. I do like things that are not always designer items too. I just like things that fit my colouring and feel like my vibe, but things that are on sale. So how do we do that? We have to be patient. We have to have self-control, and we have to believe that the item might come on sale. Now, sometimes it might not. Some of our faster fashion stores, the items come in and they go out pretty quick, and they really don't get marked down very much. So if you're going to somewhere like Glassons, it's rare to see things marked down because their price point is quite low, but they will do deals. 2 for 1, buy one, get one free, etc., which is essentially a little bit like a sale. So how do we do this? We go into a store, we have a look at the item we like. If it's at the beginning of the season, we have to be prepared to let it go. So if it's the beginning of the season and you love it, you have to walk away, remember what it is, and just remember that towards the middle of the season, it might come on sale. Now, remembering our seasons, in New Zealand, winter clothes come into the stores in February, March, which is ludicrous considering the fact that it's so hot. Well, relatively compared to now hot. So it's hotter at that time of the year. So clothing comes into the store at that time of the year, and it's for the winter season. Now, I would never buy it then because it also doesn't feel like it's in season, unless you're somebody who absolutely loves fashion, and for you, the money side of it isn't a big deal, right? But if you want it and you really like it, and it comes in February, March, April, sometimes things trickle in May too, Then about June, July, things start to go on sale because in August, September, we start to get summer. And it's the reverse on the other side of the world. So one of the things that I have done a lot, look, and I know this is extremely coming from a position of privilege, is when I've been traveling overseas, especially to the opposite side of the world, like Europe or another part of the world, which is an opposite season to us, I will buy something that's in their sale, right? So it might be, say for example, if right now I was traveling to, I don't know, say Spain, it would be summer and hot. And their summer clothes will be right in season and they will have a summer sale really soon and I'll buy something and bring it back and wear it. So even now in the winter here in New Zealand, I'm wearing clothes I purchased last August when I was actually away. I got them made and they were winter things, and when I came back to New Zealand there wasn't much winter left. And so for example, I'm wearing a pair of leather trousers that I got made in Morocco, and it was boiling hot. I had COVID too. I wasn't feeling good. And I got the trousers made and now I love them because it's winter and they feel fantastic because it's so cold. But I didn't wear them much then. So that'll come to bring me to my next point in a moment. So think about items being on sale. Now, to really get the best out of this, you have to be uber super patient and shop outside the current season. This is point 3. And this again is alluding to what I just said before. So if you are somebody who is able to travel and has that privilege, that's easy to do. If you're not, or that's not your vibe, then in New Zealand right now, there'll be a rack. I can tell you right now, there's a rack at the back of the store in Ballantyne's that has some winter clothes on and some summer things on sale. So I also know that if you go to one of our stores or our malls like Dress Smart in New Zealand, which is a mall, is an outlet mall, they often have clothes out of season. So I've done this. I've been away in the New Zealand winter to a hot place and I've needed a swimsuit. And I've gone, oh my goodness, there's not anywhere. Where do I find one? And I've gone to the outlet mall, which we call Dress Smart here in Christchurch and in many places around New Zealand, or outlet. And I've purchased something out of season. So it feels really hard to do that and feels very counterintuitive, but honestly, it is where you get the best deals. So for another example would be, I've been to Manawa Bay, which is an outlet mall in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, close to the airport. And they have they have many great stores there. It's a great outlet mall, but they have an Icebreaker store. Icebreaker in New Zealand is a store that specializes in producing merino clothing and really high quality for sports use and casual use. And I really like it for my running, for times where I'm going out and it's really cold. I really, really like Icebreaker. It's a really good product for me, but it is premium price point. So the outlet mall, I went there, just trying to remember, maybe at the end of the winter 2 years ago, and I purchased 2 zip-up merino thermals, which I wear for running, and they are excellent. And they were half the price. So it was towards the end of the winter, so it's getting to be spring. No one was very interested. They were quite heavy, and I purchased them, and they've been fantastic. So shop outside the current season. Think about buying swimwear in the winter and sweaters or jackets and things in the summer. And if you can be patient, you'll be really happy. And most clothes, honestly, don't have that much trend attached to them that they'll be out of style next season. If you're buying high trend items like that anyway, that's probably not someone who's going to want to save money. Have you ever wondered how you can be a fashion stylist with access to premium digital styling products? Do you want to be trained by the best in the industry and access these products that reflect fashion styling in 2025? If you do, then Image Innovators is absolutely the choice for you. This is because they have a network of over 1,000 trained fashion stylists worldwide, and you know when you work with them, you're getting the best of the best. They have evidence-based professional training offered by highly skilled facilitators that help you reach your absolute potential. This is a great alignment with Style for Life, as I in my business have used and endorsed their products for over 10 years with so many happy clients. And I'm really excited to say I'm also offering training to fashion stylists in conjunction with Image Innovators. So if you're ready to start your fashion styling training journey, then use the code BRIGHTRED25 for 10% off all products. Look at going to things like garage sales. People have garage sales still in New Zealand, where you go to someone's home and they have put up items for sale. I've actually had clothing sales here at home and had quite a few people along and made quite a bit of money, just my own clothes. But I am now more likely to take them to a pre-loved clothing store, which we'll get to in a moment. But you might even want to go to a pre-loved vintage fair, like the Nifty markets. So they occur once a month here in Christchurch, usually through the summer. And they're a combination of different pre-loved clothing sellers that get together in a market area, and then they sell things like Loved by Liv. Lovely Olivia, she helps me with some of my social media. She has a stall there. So going to a garage sale, going to a vintage market like Nifty Markets, or there's plenty of others around the country, is a great way to find clothing that might be a great price, but also is in good condition and is pre-loved, and it's still perfect for you. Another thing that I've done in this area is I've purchased 100% wool jerseys or sweaters, however, whatever you want to call them, and then I've unpulled them. These are ones that are hand knitted. I've unpulled them and washed the wool so that it re-fluffs up, and then I've re-knitted a sweater in a style I like in that wool. So that's another way of using a really high quality garment and actually doing that. But you have to know your fibres there, and last week's podcast talks all about fibres. So I personally only like wearing wool. It's just the way I roll. I don't want to wear an acrylic jumper. It doesn't feel right for me. So I would have to buy something wool. And I have done this. I purchased a purple jumper and pulled it apart and re-knitted it. I did that also over lockdown. I had a big knit fest, which was quite fun. I'm knitting again now. I'm nearly finished a cardigan, which I will show you in another episode. So pre-loved shops. Pre-loved shopping is very popular in New Zealand. It's popular at all price points. And you can buy pre-loved clothing from places like Save Mart, which is where a lot of garments go. They're very reasonably priced. They're sorted usually into garment type and by gender, which is helpful. They often have shoes. People who work in Save Mart nowadays seem to know pretty much exactly what they're looking for. So you might find a bargain, but most of the time you'll find that the people who are doing this recognise whether there's a designer label or a label of something that needs to be sold at more of a premium price point. Then you have other pre-loved clothing stores or consignment stores where you take your garments in and they can be sold on your behalf, and you get a portion of the cost and the other portion goes to the reseller. And there's a whole lot of those. I can think of in Christchurch here To Be Continued, which is on Papanui Road, Labels of Late, which is in Papanui, just in my area. I can also think of Recycle Boutique, who are a really good consignment store. Again, you've got many other stores around Christchurch. I'm only listing ones in Christchurch. I know Recycle Boutique is across all of the main centres. I know this because both my daughters are always checking to see if I have any credit so they can use some of it in there to buy some of their own bits and pieces. But they also do sell things in Recycle Boutique too. It's a really great way of clothing moving around the life cycle and getting good life out of clothing. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to speak to one of the lovely owners of a pre-loved clothing store. I've got her in the wings, and we can learn more about pre-loved shopping, because I know that's something that you're very keen on knowing more about. I've had a few queries on that. How else can we save money on clothes? We can also use air points, hot points, other promotions. So, for example, I am very keen on air points. So this means I have a card, as a credit card, which I pay off each month, and I use it to buy everything. We use it for one for our home expenses and one for our obviously my business expenses. Now you've got to watch sometimes if you're getting merchant fees or surcharges and weigh all of that up. But generally for us, we find that it works, and it means that we accumulate a lot of air points. We've got enough air points now to buy at least one-way ticket to Europe next year, or maybe even more than that. We might even have enough for nearly a return flight. So we use them for everything. So everything's cranking through all the time. Now you can use them, redeem them in other areas. So you can redeem them on clothing, you can redeem them on products. And it's another great way to buy something that you might not normally feel you can justify the spending on, but you can use some of your hot points. So, think really carefully about that. Is it a preferred retailer that actually uses these points? Can you buy your fuel and get points? Can you put your power through it? There's all sorts of ways, if you're smart, of maximizing your earning potential, not just from your money, but from your spending as well. So again, we're very keen on this. So any very big purchases we make, so if we have to buy a car or something like that through a retailer, or if we're buying a new washing machine or anything, we will put it through our card system, so that lump sum payment or that large payment actually does accrue points. So that's another way of just making the most of what you've got. Now, on this one here, I am so big on this. Buying quality over quantity. I don't know if you know that textiles make up a very large percentage of our world trash. It's extremely concerning, like so concerning. And this is one of the reasons I talked about fibres last week, is we have a moral responsibility to not continually buy plastic clothing that doesn't last, right? So buy quality over quantity. You can do this by shopping with your hot points or air points, going to preloved stores, like watching for something that comes on sale. All of those things I've already spoken about. So quality garments tend to last through time because the fibres are more robust. Like, for example, I personally find wool to be, it's better for your conductivity, it's better for your skin, it's not leaving microplastics on your skin. I was speaking to a friend of mine earlier this year about, or not earlier this year, just last weekend actually, she's a gastroenterologist, and I said to her, why have we got such a high prevalence of bowel cancer in New Zealand? Sorry, I'm taking a detour here. And she said there's two reasons. The first reason is that we are consuming a large number of microplastics. And one of the other ladies I was running with said that they'd shown that every week most people have a credit card worth size of microplastics in their system. This is so scary. This is one of the reasons our bowel cancer is high. The other is the eating of processed meat, nitrates in food. Stopped eating processed meat, even though I love bacon and ham. Stopped it. I don't want to get bowel cancer. But anyway, just to keep in mind that the microplastics from clothing will flake onto your skin too. And you absorb them. Your body absorbs everything. So what are you putting next to your skin? So I'm very big on that. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be expensive to be good quality. I really want you to get that. It does not have to be expensive to be good quality. So for example, I'm wearing under here a skivvy or a turtleneck from Glassons, which is a more affordable retailer in New Zealand, and it's 100% wool. You know, so, and it wasn't expensive. Glassons is an affordable retailer. I can't remember, it might have been $29.95 or something like that, but it wasn't expensive. And I've had this polo neck for probably 6 or 7 or 8 years. I only wear it in June, July, August because it's not cold enough the rest of the year, but it's better quality, and it's I consider quality to, on the whole, be natural fibres, like we talked about last week. So just go back and listen to last week's episode on the fibres of your clothes if you're interested to learn more about this. And I would very strongly encourage you to be buying natural fibres for so many reasons: what they do for the environment, what they do for the human body, how they perform. And again, I am wearing man-made fibres as well, as I said last week, because I'm wearing sports gear all the time, and there's a combination, often fabrics are made of a combination of fibres. But quality over quantity. Look at the quality, look at the seaming of your garment. Look at how it's constructed. Are there loose threads hanging off it? How does it fit you? Is it the right length? All of those things come together to choose quality. Actually, maybe I need to do an episode on how to choose a quality garment. Yeah, so really think about quality over quantity, yeah? And I suppose that brings me on to a couple of other points, which is you want to have multi-season and multi-way pieces that go everywhere. They can't just be worn here or there. And actually, I'm kind of contradicting myself today because I'm wearing garments today that can only be worn in winter. But you will commonly see me wearing clothes right through the seasons and layering them. So for example, the skivvy I have on, which is an orange ribbed turtleneck, I could wear this underneath a short sleeve denim shirt, which I would wear in the summer, and tie the shirt up to provide some interest down the centre with the orange showing, and the shirt just gives me another layer for interest and potentially for a little bit more warmth too. So that means I can wear it in summer and winter, and I've spoken quite a lot about that on the podcast in the past as well. Think a little bit here about, can you wear your clothes in the summer? Can you wear them in the winter? Are they multi-wear pieces, multi-way pieces? Can you wear them different ways? Like I saw my daughter last night wearing a cardigan. She had it on how I would describe as back to front, and she had the buttons down the back. It looked really cute. Can you wear your pieces in different ways? Can you wear your skirt as a strapless dress and put a belt around it and then wear it different ways? And that makes it something that is not just going to be worn one way or another. And that brings me on to capsule wardrobes, which we spoke about. I spoke about a couple of weeks ago too. And I showed you 2 capsule wardrobes, one for casual and one for dressy. And honestly, it's a great way to dress. It's a great way to purchase. I try and purchase a capsule wardrobe with my clients when we go shopping too, which just means they get something that all works together. And remembering a capsule wardrobe is 12 pieces, just to remind you, 3 to 4 tops or 3 to 5 tops, 2 to 3 bottoms, a couple of jackets and a dress. There you go, it's all that, and all of it needs to work with each other. So 1 or 2 prints that tie everything together and appropriate for the season. So a capsule wardrobe is honestly a very affordable way to dress because you can mix and match. Look like you're wearing different outfits when you're actually wearing the same pieces over and over. So my challenge, I'm going away in a little bit over the next few months, is to put capsule wardrobes together for traveling. I'm going to make myself, because it's so good. When I did my own capsule wardrobe podcast, I was like, why am I not doing more of this myself? Okay, the next one is mend and repurpose fabric and clothing. Such a big thing. We're such a throwaway society. And I've just watched my daughter Poppy put together this amazing project for her architecture submission. She's in her 3rd year. And she used a whole lot of repurposed fabric. So her sister Scarlett had purchased a duvet some years ago, probably 5 or 7 years ago, an old one from a preloved clothing store, which was really fun. It had all these fun prints on it. And that fabric has been so many places, and it's been in my daughter's project. I just saw the other day she's made herself a little toilet bag out of the same fabric. So, you know, if you have some sewing skills, if you don't, go online and teach yourself. That's what she's done. And really amazing. Now, if you're not really into crafty stuff, that's completely fine. Can you repurpose a garment for something else? So can you, where it might have been a tunic style, and we've done this a few times with my clients, because that tunic style kind of went out years ago, which was, you know, to the mid-thigh with leggings underneath. And can you cut that off and make it into a top, which can actually be a really good thing to do? Then you've got a piece you really like and still want to wear, but it's not too long and it doesn't look frumpy and in a funny shape. Can you cut a pair of jeans off and make them into shorts? Can you shorten a long sleeve dress and make it a short sleeve dress? Can you make a long dress short? Can you unpull, like I said, unpull a knitted garment and re-knit it if you're into that, or re-crochet it? So there's lots of things. Now, the last point we've got here, this is actually the point 11, there's more than 10, there's 11, is how to look great without spending a fortune. Look after your grooming and just light makeup. So before I came on here today, I didn't have any lipstick on. I looked pretty grim. I've only got a little bit of makeup on today, but I have done my hair. So if you can just think about getting your hair cut, and if you get it coloured, do it regularly. If colouring's not your thing, just getting it cut regularly or keeping it in good condition, making sure you put product into it if that's what you need. Looking after your grooming. Is it your fingernails? Do you need to have, you don't have to have fingernail polish on, honestly, but keeping your nails in good condition. Are you looking after your personal hygiene? Do you look after your teeth? I learned somewhere recently that flossing your teeth daily can help prevent dementia, because oral hygiene's quite linked to dementia. So I've gone to the habit of flossing my teeth every night and then brushing them. I have to say my breath's much better too. So think about that. Flossing really regularly, at least 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. I am married to a dentist or an ex-dentist. And also looking after your body odor, like your hair can smell if it's not washed enough. Do you smell pleasant? That's part of your grooming, part of your personal image. All of that means you can look good, even if you're taking care of all of this and your clothes are simple. Honestly, how did we get to nearly 29 minutes? That is 29 minutes of how to dress well without spending a fortune. My top tips were: know what suits your colour, style and personality, shop for items on sale, shop outside the current season like swimwear in winter, jerseys in summer, go to garage sales or pre-loved vintage fairs like Nifty Markets in Otautahi, Christchurch or other places. Look at pre-loved shops. Watch out for our next episode on pre-loved clothing and how to buy it. Use some of your air points, or if you've got hot points or other promotions, to buy clothing if you want to. Purchase quality garments over quantity. Check out last week's episode on fibres if you want to learn more. Buy pieces that are multi-season and go multi-way so you can wear them different ways. And then think about a capsule wardrobe, so how you can put 12 items together to go with each other. Mend and repurpose fabric and clothing as needed, and take care of your grooming and your makeup. Okay, that's us. Another episode done and dusted. I am always so happy to be here sharing style tips, whether it's style and beauty, style and fashion, style in your actual life with you, and I really appreciate my audience. So thank you so much for listening. I know you can follow me on socials, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of the above if you want to catch up with me. And also a big shout out again to Claire from Image Innovators, who is our premium show podcast sponsor. And look after yourselves in the middle of the winter. You can still buy clothes. It's a good time to shop sale. So kia kaha, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and see you all next week. Thank you for listening to the Style for Life podcast. Don't forget, you deserve to feel fabulous at every age, every stage, and at every size. If you're loving the show, hit subscribe and leave a review. It helps more amazing people like you find their way back to life through style. Thanks again. Until next time.